Our next speaker is Mr. Ganesh Ahire. Ganesh is an architect and urban planner with over 12 years of experience in complex urban design projects. He led the Pune Riverfront Development Master Plan for 6 years, an 88-kilometer river corridor project that brought together the Pune Municipal Corporation, Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, defense areas, irrigation departments, and environmental bodies to develop a holistic urban riverfront solution. Ganesh.
Good afternoon, all. I'm having a little cold, so my voice is a little annoying to you. So please bear with me. It's a long presentation, so I have to run. It's about Pune River Rejuvenation project. I'll directly jump to the project presentation. I'm presenting on behalf of HCP team, a large team who worked on this project. It's a large-scale project. This is a location of Pune, and strategically it is located on the leeward side of the Sahyadri Hills, and that's how the whole hydrology also works. Historically, most of us know about the culture and the history of the Pune. It's an educational, institutional importance, and the new IT is the backbone of the economy in current situation. Earlier, the Pune was something like this, most of the development on one side, a very small settlement. And this was the painting or the sketch of the Pune. You can see the Pune on a little high altitude and Parvati and Sinhagad Fort in the background. So very limited development, very picturesque spaces were there. This is a confluence of the Mula Mutha river at that time. Gradually, something similar happened with Bangalore and any other large-scale cities. So city sprawl, and on all the sides of the river, you can see the development of the urbanization. The river, which used to be like this, became like this. So various aspects of congestion and encroachment into the river, everything you can observe here. So still, just to bring all on paper, the garbage dumping, she just talked about the garbage dumping. Pune is not any excuse for that. The nalas are bringing effluent into the river and source of pollution. Authority has done some sort of interceptor lines, but they are like room size manholes over there, mostly getting damaged and also resulting into the leakage. And of course, the flood is the threat. So you can see how the flood is resulting into the havoc in the surrounding area. Most of the riverbed is dry. Though you have either you will have flood or there is no water at all. So most of the riverbed is dry. Poor quality result into hyacinth development. And ultimately, city has turned its back to the river. Nobody wants to see it, the way she mentioned. We are just crossing the river as early as possible because it's not beautiful, not accessible. Only the bridges from where you can see or enjoy the river. Piecemeal, haphazard, amenity space created. So authorities started a very context-specific comprehensive river rejuvenation project, and that was the brief for us. We started working on this project in 2016, and it's almost like 9 years now. This is 44 kilometer, includes Mula, Mutha, and Mula Mutha, 3 rivers together. And also the upstream dams. The image is very important because all upstream dams are informing that it is regulated water. So whenever we want, we will be able to have that water. So under the hydrology study, we studied all the upstream catchment areas, including the dam catchments, etc. till the project end. These are all key stakeholders, authorities, PMC, PCMC, defense and all. Since beginning, we were supposed to take them together for the project implementation. In the beginning, we did all these technical studies. So these technical studies are very, very important. Unless we do that, we will not be able to design, we will not be able to strategize, we will not definitely be able to execute. So first one is the topographical survey. For the levels, everybody understand that. Geotechnical investigation to understand the strata. How much, it's a rocky strata basically. Hydrology, hydraulic studies we did in a detail. I'll explain that a little bit more. Public opinion survey, base map preparation to understand till what line the private properties are there and where the actual river land is, and environmental impact assessment and the approvals, everything. So we completed that. This is one of the snapshot of along the river on both the side, 500 meter, more than 5,000 surveys we did to understand what is the perception of people, those who are living, walking, working along the river. And this is the result of that. So people gave this kind of percentage information, and importantly, this survey we didn't conduct. One of the NGOs from Pune, they conducted. This gave us very comprehensive assessment, like people need all comprehensive solution to the river. It's not one thing, we need to do beautification, we need to do only flood management, nothing like that. Everything has to be done, and that's the kind of brief we had. We did n number of meetings, workshops, stakeholder engagements with key people, NGOs, media, people representatives since beginning to understand the river, to understand the concepts, then again approving the concepts and taking it ahead. This was our master plan for the entire river. So you can see the river meanders were retained. Wherever the widening is required, we did it. We did the master planning. Wherever the remaining land. So 61% was the area given for the permanent river. 30% was given for the embankment. Again, that holds the water. So almost 90% goes for the water during the flood. And 9% is the remaining land behind the promenades, which can be utilized again for the public purpose. And all that may include these kind of amenities. So that's the kind of project outcome. And this kind of project we prepared in 2 years and got the approval from the standing committee as well. So this is the project. Now I'll try to go into the details of each of the aspect. So these were all the objectives of the project. And as I mentioned earlier, based on the survey opinion, all this need to be covered in any river rejuvenation project. So cleaning of the river is the most important one because the river itself was very polluting, and these kind of some large, some small, more than 50 number of nalas were bringing the outfalls. So first of all, we mapped all these nalas and outfalls. There were some interceptor lines as well, and we added some more into our proposal. So this is the diagram. So this is how the outfall is bringing effluent into it. And under our embankment, this need to be intercepted. So no outfall or nala should bring pollution into the river. It should be intercepted and taken to the nearest STP, and that's how the execution is done. There are some large manholes, which I showed you earlier also, that need to be shifted and taken below the promenade so that it can be well maintained. It will not get damaged anything, and it will not also create obstruction during the flood as well. So this is, there are so many number of natural, nice, unpolluted nalas, outfalls, which will be integrated, and definitely it will be released into the river. This is current situation, and this is how it will be integrated without any interception. It's not required also. But sometimes these nalas or outfalls are bringing pollution, so we need to definitely intercept into the pipe, take to the STP, and during the storm water period, monsoon, it will have overflow, which can directly merge with the river. And this is how the execution is also happening. But there are some large-scale nalas bringing pollution through the slums, and of course there will be a huge amount of effluent into it. So we need something, baffles to control the speed. Again, it is intercepted, and then overflow works during the monsoon period, and this is how the execution is happening. Another point is the garbage, different way of pollution into the river. This is 88 kilometers of the river edge, and no policing is possible, isn't it? Even all people manually, even by putting the cameras, is not possible. So our strategy was to simply make it edged, and walkability will be there, so that our policing will happen automatically, right? So people will not be able to throw any garbage. No construction debris truck will be able to access, and it will remain clean. Coming to the next most important aspect, which is a flood mitigation, because it's an urban developed area. I'll show you the gravity of the issue is like this. On both the sides, you can see the black plots. These are the plots and the development inside. Another river is meeting that second river. So you see, these are the red and blue lines. Everybody understand here, HFL lines. And there is a development inside. So inside the development, these are private lands, and people have already developed. Huge amount of lakhs of people are living inside. So even hypothetically, it is not possible to remove all of them and make it non-habitable red and blue line area. So definitely what we need to do, at city level, you see so much of development inside these red and blue lines. So that's the reality of the city. So what we try to do, these are the photographs of how the flood happens and when they enter into the slums or the amenity areas, temple precinct, anything. So first of all, these will inundate the surrounding areas. So we identified all the obstructions which are there inside the river need to be removed. And once we remove them, there will be some reduction in the HFL because the obstructions are removed, the flow will increase, right? But that is not sufficient. So this is one of the example. I'll go to this Google image and you can see the red and blue lines are going over the city and the water is flowing through the middle. So when during the lean period water flows like this, but when the flood comes, the water enters into these shallow areas. And because it creates the eddies and all, so the velocity also further reduces. There will be turbulence, right? So in order to avoid these non-effective areas, this is just a stagnation of water. So ideally we need to have a water flowing through the middle of the channel only so that the velocity also increases. And to ensure that we need to have these streamlined river edges. And that's why the embankments are required. So that kind of hydraulics proposal we prepared. It got approved by vetted by the CWPRS and then irrigation also approved it. So instead of having just a linear concrete RCC wall or something, we thought having a green embankment which will have the promenades, landscapes, etc. So this is a visualization, current scenario. And if the flood comes, this is how it might look like. But if there are green embankment along, it will allow the water to flow and on next day it will be clean available. But for the 88 kilometer of the edges, we cannot have one solution. So based on the context, we can have different strategies. Two are the green embankment, just change in the slope, and third one is the vertical edge. So when I apply that solution on entire length, so almost 87% of the edges become a natural green embankment with the help of this kind of stones and garden soil, etc. kind of material. So this is our typical embankment solution. But once the embankment is there, so there will be some low-lying areas also of the city behind, and there is a chance of stagnation of water due to the rain. So we strategize like how that water need to be taken to the nearest outfall or nala immediately with the help of these type of swells, and then it is released into the river. So there should not be any flooding into the city as well, right? So we have protected the city, and also city should not have its own flood. And this is how the river embankments are coming up. This is our first stretch. Unfortunately, 2 years back, even 2025, we had a flood. This is the area where the embankments were not constructed, and this is where the embankments are constructed. So once the embankments were constructed, very nicely the water was flowing, and there was no impact on the, you can see people are standing over there and enjoying the water. So there was no impact to these landscaped areas as well. Coming to the next one, the water availability. This is current scenario of the river, just a 30-meter channel out of the 100-meter width. Because to avoid the unhygienic condition, there are some check dams, solid check dam. And because of these tiny solid check dam, only dark areas used to have a water. The rest of the river was very much open. So instead of having these kind of siltation resulting into solid check dams, we should be having the barrages which can open from the bottom. So there will not be any siltation and no afflux as well. So that kind of transformation we propose. So using the same location where the current check dams were there, we added some more, and the total water retention will be 57,000 MLD in one go. So this is one of the best reservoir what we can have a linear lake into the city, which will definitely result into the seepage, good amount of seepage for the city. And because of the evaporation also, there will be some loss. So that becomes 56 MLD per day. But if I compare the whole STP capacity, it's just a 6% of the total STP treatment capacity. That means that additional 94% will ensure the flowing nature of water into the river, isn't it? So this is a visualization, how it will transform. So these are all the benefits of having water into the river. First of all, it will recharge the ground. It will reduce the local temperature. Instead of rocky exposed areas, you will have water. It will restore the flora. It will enrich the ecology. There will be strategic location where recreation may happen, and it will specially bring back the self-cleaning capacity of the river because of the ecosystem and all. So these are the benefits. Coming to the next point, restoration and enriching biodiversity. You see along the river, it's a Pune, very good climate like a Bangalore. So we have good amount of trees and grasses and shrub. Very strategically, we did the detailed survey of all the trees along the river within the project area with all detailed parameters, their height, girth, species, everything, so that we can efficiently integrate in our design and retain the maximum trees, okay? Small trees, we can transplant and continue the retention, but the big trees, we retain as it is, and this is how they have retained into the embankment, yeah? Now coming to the proposed strategy, this is the invasive landscape, what you see, and we thought of having a better landscape strategy. His guy, most of you might be aware of him. He's Dr. Rao from Bangalore itself, very specialist in horticulture and landscape. So we studied the details of how the mix is there, and we planned our landscape strategy, not going to the detail modules. So basically, it should look like a natural landscape. It's not a manicured landscape. It's a natural wild landscape with different type of zones based on the location, and this is how it is coming up. This is Upper Promenade, where people can walk. I'll just quickly run through the connectivity aspect. I think my time is up. Okay, last 1 minute. So instead of having everywhere activities or everywhere calm areas, these are the active areas, and these are some of the calm areas. So active, moderate, calm areas. These are different type of location, various type of modules. We cannot have one solution everywhere. And this is what visualized. This is implemented, visualized, implemented lower walkway where people can access and go near the river. Decks is implemented, and people have started using it. They're coming and enjoying it. Last topic, there are very large and significant temples, so we need to have large ghats there. Stone ghats, which need to be integrated with the amenities. This is the narrow channel, which we will widen, yoga garden, etc., and the heritage wall will be integrated with that. This is the Ganesh Ghat, where we have implemented our first stretch, and you see how the space and everything is improved. This is very strategic location where Mutha River banks on the front side, and there was a significant scouring was happening. So our authority was asking to have a concrete wall because the landscape will not sustain, right? So we said, no, we should not have concrete wall, but we can have something hardscape. So we proposed a 200-meter long ghat over here, and this is how the execution is done, and people are using it. So all these objectives are achieved in this way. Currently, out of 44 kilometers, this 18-kilometer river length is under execution, and this is how it looks like with the help of good maintenance, and our landscape is growing. People are using this space very nicely, and various activities, authorities also organizing it. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Ganesh, for that really detailed presentation. It's a massive project in itself.